Yo ho ho! So today I'm going to do a video to help you manage your TBR stress. So it's the start of the new year and a lot of people have set themselves Goodreads goals, and throughout the year you will see these people get progressively more and more stressed as the end of the year approaches, and meeting that goal that they've set themselves. This video is just one to help ease the pain, ease the buying, and reading what you actually already have. So my first tip is to stop buying books. Just completely stop. Don't go into bookstores, don't go onto Amazon and look at books. Just totally cut it out of your life. I did this. The first week is the worst, and then you stop, you get over the kind of and it gets easier, and you forget then about the rush of buying new books or the excitement. That just goes away, and you can just focus on what you already have at home, and you can focus on getting your actual TBR down rather than adding to it. My second tip is, if you can't stop buying yourself books, then become super selective with the books that you buy. If you go into a bookstore and you're holding a book, weigh up the pros and the cons of it. Ask yourself some questions about it. Is this book going out of print? Is it going to be here in a month's time? Is it going to be here in a year's time? Is there really any rush that I need to get it right this second? How long will it take me to get to this book? Will I just take it home with me and sit it on my shelf and then forget about it? Ask yourself some of these questions and really weigh up how soon you will get to reading it. Is it something that you're really excited about? Is it something that you have a keen interest in? Just ask yourself a series of questions when you're in the bookshop, and if a lot of the answers are no, or it's going to be a while before I get to it, I've got a lot of other stuff at home that I need to read first, then just put it down, because most of the time it's probably not going out of print. That's the only time you need to panic and buy something. My third tip is to not blind buy. Now, I have been fucked over by pretty covers many times. Because of that, I've learned to not buy something because the cover is pretty. It's probably making up for the fact that it has shitty writing. The publishers are just trying to entice people by having a very captivating cover. Don't buy a book because you heard so-and-so mention once that they kind of liked the book. Don't let other people really influence you. And it's kind of hard because, like in BookTube, you're constantly bombarded with books all the time, constantly adding to your to-buy list or to-get list. My fourth tip is to utilize your local library. Now, this is something people on BookTube really should be doing because it is ridiculous at this stage. I used to do it a lot. I don't anymore because I currently owe my library a bit of money and I'm avoiding them. It is something people should do, especially if you're you don't have a huge interest in a book, but there's a lot of hype about it, so you kind of want to read it. Go to the library and get it out. If you don't get to it within the certain amount of time that the library allots you to read, you can always just take it back, and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have it there on your shelf kind of shaming you and guilting you. Take it back and forget about it. It is just something that more people really should do. And you can always do library hauls if you're very into doing your book hauls and things like that. You can always do library hauls. It's not that it doesn't count or anything. People are still interested in what you're reading and what you're going to read and all that jazz. So utilize your library, especially for books that you're you're sitting on the fence about, that you're not quite sure if you'll enjoy it. You don't need to buy every single book that you hear about. My fifth tip is this is only recommended in a dire situation where you've just dug yourself a hole and you can't get out, is to purge your bookshelves, is to get rid of some of your TBR. Now, I really don't like recommending doing this because I don't believe you're actually dealing with your TBR by just giving it away. I don't like unhaul videos because they depress me. You saw the excitement in these people's eyes when they originally hauled these books, and then a couple of months later they're like, actually I have no interest in this anymore. It's just really depressing. They're also filler videos. They're the worst type of filler videos I have ever seen in my life. They're so lazy. There is nothing to them. They're worse than hauls. They're just awful. If you have a lot of books on your shelves that you're like, shit, I bought these, I now have no interest in reading them, just get rid of them. Maybe don't make a video about it and let everyone know your shame. Just give them to charity, give them to your library. If you can make some of the money back that you spent on them, put them up on eBay or take them to a secondhand bookstore or something like that. If you really feel stressed out because you have like 50 plus books or 100 plus books or even more in some people's cases, then just do yourself a favor and get rid of a chunk of them. A lot of people say if you make a mistake with getting rid of one, you can always get it back later in life, you know what I mean? So there's no there's no pressure. So those are my tips to kind of help manage your TBR. There's no reading tips or reading faster tips or anything like that, because I think everyone just needs to take it at their own pace and not be competitive about that and not compare themselves to others, which is a very difficult thing to do, especially on BookTube, because you see so-and-so has read this many pages in a certain amount of hours on their Goodreads. It can be very, very stressful, and it shouldn't be. It should be something that we all do, something pleasurable, something that we do for ourselves, something we do to just relax and chill out, rather than be reading a book and thinking about how many pages you have left to finish it, so then you can mark it off as read so you can get on to the next book in your TBR pile. So we all just need to take a deep breath and sit back, put the brakes on the buying, and just focus more on the reading. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can apply some of these tips to yourselves and ease the stress. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.